they say, I mean, like, this is a romantic context. What OP is saying, it's like between like a partner and OP.
Mhm.
But yeah, we can tackle it from there and then we can talk about. All right. In the previous episode with Moss and Snail, I actually had this kind of talk how good romantic relationships start from good friendships. So yeah,
Mhm.
any advice we put here usually can be applied in both. I'ma go read it. Improving communication in a relationship. So my partner and I have been having trouble communicating effectively. What strategies have helped you improve dialogue and understanding in your relationship? As simple as that. Any
Hmm.
examples, big and small, will do.
Hmm.
Meanwhile,
Strategy.
I'm looking for references because there's this I said it in the previous episode as well that I read my husband and I read some books from this guy called Gottman. So it's a husband and wife actually, John Gottman and Julie Gottman, and they're actually specializing in like marriage and stuff. But their advice
Mhm.
so far, I feel like it can be applied everywhere, and I don't wanna quote him and say the wrong thing. So yes, any like strategies that you learned or like that you like any systems of communication you have with your partner that you think will help people improve their communication quality?
So gamers, listen, listen very carefully.
Yeah.
Uh, Go play Call of Duty with your spouse, your SO, your significant other, and see how they act, and especially doing call out. Um, because when it comes to stuff like that, when they rely on you for those call outs, that's a good way to be effective in your strategy. You're like, okay, they understand this word more than this, and you'll pick it up very quickly. Like over here on the barrels, and they're like, okay, which barrels? And they will be like, well, these barrels next to the car on this alleyway. You have to be more descriptive on the the approach you have to improve your dialogue and have the understanding in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you could be like, oh, he's next to this tree, and you're like, what tree? This tree? What tree? Then it's just gonna be a fight, and you're like, okay, you can be like, he's at 3 o'clock, that tree, and they look and oh, there he goes, and that it's just how to communicate the direction of the relationship. It's like dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you have to team build with your partner to communicate perfectly. Sometimes once you get that down to a T, you could just simply just go, mm, and they're like, oh, okay, I know what that means. And they can go do whatever that actually means. That's improving communication because a simple noise could be something, a meaning, and that's just years of built team building.
Oh.
Like you can just start making gremlin noises, and they understand what it is.
Gremlin noises.
Yeah,
In a way,
'cause
yeah,
oh,
I'm
go
I
ahead.
sorry. It's just that I need to point out that it's funny that you start with like play a game, play a somewhat complicated game with your partner and like see how you handle the communication and how you improve it so that you can like play better.
Mhm.
Cause I mean, I'm glad that this advice didn't exist while I was still dating my husband. Because if that's the case, maybe we wouldn't be married. Because, my bad habit with communication is that I tend to assume that it's a bad habit, okay? Don't follow with people. Um, I tend to assume that they should be knowing what I mean.
A mind reader.
Yeah, little bit of that. And like
Uh-huh.
if they don't, I get impatient. So like I know when I play that game, yeah, I'll raise my voice a lot. I'll be like that one, man, that one. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like my husband has accepted that part of me as well. I believe, but I do feel bad if you're
But
out
that's your
there.
husband.
Yeah, if you're out there, I feel bad. But yeah,
But yeah, team building is a good way to improve in communication in a relationship, especially because as soon as you have that same wavelength
mm-hmm.
and the communication, a simple noise can be just like, oh, okay, I know what that means.
I feel like that's something that can also be built over time, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah, I
especially
do.
if you don't play games. Yes.
I don't know. I do get it though. Like, it's not in the game context, but I do have some friends, right, that I'm close enough with that. Let's say if they're faced in a certain by a certain situation, I can guess how would they react
Hmm.
or how would they answer and stuff like that. I don't know if it's gonna
Yeah.
help my communication with them, but yeah, I guess it does. Cause like by knowing how they gonna react, I can kind of like change my way of speaking and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I found the thingy from Gottman I'm looking for. Okay, so there is a little bit about this. They have this diagram called the sound relationship house, but I might just tap into the communication related one. It's they have this concept called turning to words, turning inwards, like to your partner.
Hmm.
So like there are certain gestures that, let's say, I know that guys don't like it when girls quote, but either way that will happen. Like there's certain gesture where we do need attention or support or comfort. We don't just say like, hey, I need attention all the time, you know? Like there are
That's
gestures,
funny.
there are simple gestures that they call a bit BID. So I
Hmm.
remember that the experiment that they do is that they put like couples in, I would say it's a vacation home or something. And then sometimes there's one of the couple who gonna look around and they say, "Look, there's a bird outside," for instance. And then like how the other partner react to that look, there's a bird, says a lot about the
Hmm.
relationship as a whole. Isn't that interesting?
That
Cuz
is. And it's always the perspective on the two.
yeah, but like basically what they're trying to say is that, if your partner tells you, "Oh, there's a bird, look," turning inwards mean that you put aside what you're doing for a little bit just to enjoy the bird with your partner.
Hmm.
I feel like that's one. It can be smaller than that. That's like one small gesture you can do to make your partner feel great, and I guess that's how um communicate good communication start, I would say.
Hmm.
And then yeah, of course there's the basic ones like active listening and like expressing needs clearly and stuff. But I always remember that bird story and I hold it dear in my heart. Because I believe that communication starts with trust and stuff. The basic things internet tell you, but I feel like how they react when you want to show them something, or like how I react when they want to show me something. It
Hmm.
kind of it kind of gives the oomph to it, to the communication itself. Like if you feel comfortable enough and if you feel hurt enough, then it's easier for you to communicate. So I would say that is an important part of an important method to learn to improve communication, I would say.
Yes, it's if you really think about it in an artistic way,
Mm-hmm.
especially in a form of dancing.
Mm-hmm.
You know how they do ballroom dances and tango and the salsa and the flamingo where it
Yeah.
takes two, where you have to read your partner because it's the attentiveness of you reading your partner, making sure you're like, okay, he will lead, I will follow, or I lead, they will follow.
Mm-hmm.
That's the trust and the leading,
Mm-hmm.
and you gotta like, respect that trust and the communication that you will. It's like, okay, you need to turn when I turn, okay,
Yeah.
and that's where that graciousness of the relationship will bloom.
Yeah. And that's usually is a good foundation before you go straight to like talking about methods on how to like communicate and stuff. The trust and like guys like when we the partners or like the masculine counterparts usually like it when their partner rely on them more. I mean, they like it when we are independent, but at the same time, you know how it feels good even to me. Like when, let's say, this weekend, last weekend, my husband was actually sick, and yeah, of course, he needs to rely on me a lot. It feels
Hmm.
good to be able to help you. It feels good to be trust upon and stuff. So yeah, as long as the relationship don't have that, oh, I can rely on you and I can trust you kind of vibes. I feel like any communication method might not really work well.
Hmm. And Dad just brought up a point. A
Mm-hmm.
non-violent communication by Marshall B. Rosenberg is a good book to pick up for communication for
Oh,
relationships.
let me look up. What was it again? I'm sorry.
Non-violent communication.
Okay, non-violent communication.
By Marshall
Oh,
Rosenberg.
there's a training course book for this. Interesting.
Mm,
But yeah, violence is. I'm not sure if that's what this book is gonna say, but in general, violence is also like part of what breaks the trust to begin with, and that's something that communication won't help. I would
mhm.
say, yeah. Okay, there are like summaries. There are four steps of non-violent communication. I would say is let me see. Let me see if this is based on the guy first before I start yammering about it.
Yeah, and from what
Oh,
Dad said,
there are
find what
four.
is alive.
Sorry.
From what Dad said, find what is alive in someone. What needs to being missed or harmed when you are talking to one another, because we are all attempting to get our needs met.
True. Okay, there is this summary. I think like there are like this reoccurring pattern on my Google search on like there are four uh like four main components on like nonviolent communication.
Hmm.
It's observation, feelings, needs, and requests. You see where we are getting at?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So observation is like, yeah, what we see, hear, remember, imagine. And like I do read that in Godman, of course, we and our partners, we have like different perspectives and stuff. I'm sorry, my model kind of went wonky there. I slide off my chair
Ooh.
and like it went wonky. But yes, I'm back. Uh, what we observe and what our partner observe might be different. So, So clearly and honestly expressing how I am without blaming or criticizing, and also empathetically receiving how you are without without I cannot read this without near like hearing blame or criticism. Oh yeah, it's similar to Gottman's methods actually. Like turn inwards, have respect towards each other, and like avoid contempt, criticism.
Hmm.
Dang, I forgot the 2 points.
It's okay.
Yeah, Goodman mentioned something like this. It's called Four Horsemen of Relationship. Like, it's based on that horseman of let me check.
The apocalypse.
Yeah, that. I was like for a four horsemen of like disaster or something. Yeah, he made it based on that, but there are like four horsemen for relationship. One is criticism, defensiveness, contempt, and stonewalling. That's
Hmm.
yeah. Usually criticism. What he suggests is that we start statements with I instead of you. So instead of saying
Hmm.
you do this, to be like I feel this way when you do this. Actually, that's not really good example, but yeah, like when you say this, but you're not doing it, I feel this way. Instead of saying, why do you always not do A? Something like that.
Hmm.
Put the feeling first before anything. And then defensiveness is how, we get that sometimes. I might just admit it. I get defensive sometimes. Most of the time. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it anymore.
And that's okay.
And like
You say what you
the,
got.
yeah. And like the, what do you call it? The main core of defensiveness is always reactivity, no? So I would say another thing that we must hold back in order to communicate well is, hold back our reactions.
Hmm. And that's
Mm,
okay.
mm-hmm. So the example is that, let's say the partner be like, I'm really upset that you are late. Then instead of saying, but you're always late too, just, I don't know, acknowledge it first that they are feeling upset is one of it.
Yeah. It's acknowledging the feeling of your partner or spouse and be
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, I'm sorry, honey. It was but you can't make excuses like, "Oh, it's because I'm so and so and doing this," you
Mm.
know,
I mean, like,
because especially when it's reoccurring, like it's like the spouse could be like, "Oh, well, you say this a lot. Can you change that?" And that's where some defensiveness can be like, "Oh, what do you mean?" It's like it's it's traffic. I can't have control over it. You're telling me like to split it or go over the curb to get home faster.
mm-hmm.
Even like a simple text message be like, "Oh, I'm running late because of traffic. I'll be home. Do you want me to get anything from the store?" Most times they're like that they will escalate the situation. Like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm getting some need fulfilled, like
Mm.
food or snacks or something to drink." It's like goal in orientated. Blech, it's a mouthful.
Ah, right.
Those needs are being met.
True. I guess when it comes to like stuff like, sometimes we do have bad habits and like, yeah, our partners will call it out and then we'll be like, okay, we'll not do it again and then we'll end up doing it again. I think in
Uh-huh.
the end, it's gonna fall onto like the category of generosity. I don't know. I'm bad at it. I'm actually bad at that.
And patience.
Yeah, being generous. Like, especially when my expectations, I don't even say needs, okay? Expectations, which is I would say it's a harmful version of needs, because like needs is needs. Expectations means that I might not necessarily need it, but I want it that way. The
Mm.
micromanaging side out. Yeah. But and yeah, like the generosity, the giving, the benefit of the doubt, etc. It's back to like the whole conversation of like trust and respect towards the partner, I would say.
Mm.
Yeah, and yeah, obviously some people do need to be more accountable and stuff. Because I feel like, especially in the case you said just now about how like the partner say that, oh, you're always late though. You always say sorry, you'll not do it again, but it always happens. And
Mm-hmm.
then, yeah, of course, it's normal to be defensive, especially if the scenario is that you're back from work, etc. It's tiring and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's where first the partner who must wait for the late partner needs to be a bit more generous. And at the same time, the person who's late needs to have some level of accountability. I feel like
Yes.
that might be, help. It might help with reducing defensiveness, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like based on my experience, if you raise your voice, you lose. I would say. Like once you're not level headed, you lose.
Yes. You will lose no matter
You
what.
lose. Yeah. So yeah, first develop trust and like may confide, like make it comfortable for your partner to confide on them, to confide on you. I mean, and then the next is like avoid the four horsemen. There are two main ones, especially on the early ones, the defensiveness and the criticism, not listening first and stuff. And like check out Marshall's, let me see again the name. Marshall Rosenberg's on like nonviolent communication. It actually links
Mm.
hand to hand with Gottman, so I'm really gonna look into this.
Okay.
Yeah. This is fun. I like finding new books. I haven't even finished the ones I have, but
Mm. You're probably the person that would read like maybe 3/4 of it, and you're like, okay, I'm done.
yeah. I tried to start reading the, what do you call it? Oh, wait. Let me take a pic. Okay. The Laws of Human Nature. It's so thick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to read it like a little bit every day. It's so thick though. But yeah. Yeah, everyone has their own observations, feelings, needs, and requests. So I feel like first, it's also important to like say the request clearly, especially like, I don't know, I'm in hetero relationship, so I would say like guys. Usually with guys, they don't really read the lines, isn't it?
No.
Yeah. So like, as direct as possible. If you need to give a soft deadline or something, and if they say, "Oh yeah, with yours," based on my experience, if they say later, just trust them. If they don't do it
Yeah.
like a day later, yeah, just let it pile. They'll do it eventually. It's less stress for y'all.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to throw a rock at them. Once again, not a real rock, just a metaphorical rock.
Yeah, just be direct. And be loving while doing it. Don't be rude. I know it's difficult, especially if you've been like in a relationship for a very long time or maybe friendship in a long time. You will expect that, oh, but this person should know me better. If they do this, that means they don't understand me and stuff like that. Of course, that feeling it has always been there, but yeah, be nice, people. You care about them. Remember that.
Hmm. Dad brought up another point.
Mm-hmm.
Raising your voice is a key indicator of a strong emotions. If you and your partner are capable of recognizing that, gives space to come back to address it, and then come back to respecting the circumstances and one and another.
That's a good point. That's a good point right there.
Hmm.
Marshall's nonviolent communication also mentioned that actually like you feel anger somehow. So finding a way to like stop and take a breath, it's
Hmm.
important. Though for me that raises another entirely different topic, which is attachment styles. Are you familiar with it, Shadows? It's it's fun for me because it's like personality test, Attachment styles is legit like personality test. I love personality tests when I was younger until now. I used to do all the BuzzFeed stuff. But basically based on how we were raised and how we were uh like our relationship with our guardians, like parents or like caretakers and stuff, they're like
Uh,
trauma digging.
mhm.
There are four kinds of attachment styles. The one that I have is mostly anxious attachment. For you, I believe it's avoidance.
Mhm.
Let me find a summary on that. So basically, for uh, an anxious one, they usually self sabotage and stuff.
It sounds so perfect.
Sounds about right, exactly.
Mhm.
Um, and for avoidance, usually they tend to be self reliant and distant, relatable, shadows.
Yes.
It's
Yep. Mhm.
and what I noticed is that when I asked my sister about it, she's also an avoidance type. So it's like it's a default
It's a
that
it's a
first,
firstborn thing.
yeah, yeah, it's like a firstborn thing, which is very interesting. I mean, like it's bad, but yeah, it's interesting still.
Like,
Uh, yeah.
I understand it's a firstborn thing because you are the prime example. You are, you know, the cream of the crop of
Mm-hmm.
your parents' production.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, here's my offspring. They are all of us combined, and they have to be this porcelain doll. Make sure you have good grades, you got a good image,
Mm-hmm.
picture perfect. And you can get burnt out from that so hard and so quickly. That's why some firstborns tend to have anxiety, depression,
Mm-hmm.
just underlying mental illnesses. It's all because of all that pressure that was put onto them for being a child. And children, they don't know what they're doing. They had no thought between those little eyes of theirs.
Yeah. It's
They just
tough.
want to be kids.
So like usually the anxious attachment people have like more sensitive nervous systems and struggle to communicate needs directly. So me. I mean I'm better now, but so me.
Mhm.
And then for the avoidant one usually downplays importance of relationships or like self-reliance. I'm self-sufficient and connections are not really necessary for me because I'm fine on my own and stuff like that. Meanwhile, I always feel alone and stuff like that. Yeah. So where was I going with this? All right. Yeah. So like our relation, no, our communication problem with our partners usually stems from this thing. Is what I was going to say. So when let's say my husband and I argue, and then he said, "Oh, let's take a
Mhm.
minute. I'm gonna go to another room and take a breath. Let's get back to
Yeah.
this later." The first few times we tried that methods, right, I had a major panic attack. Cause I'm like, oh shoot! Now that like he's out of reach physically and mentally, and what is he thinking? What if he's trying to leave me? Cause I'm such a pain in the ass and stuff like that. Yeah, but yeah, it's a. I mean, when once you get used to it, it's a good practice. But yeah, know that
Yeah.
anxious
So,
attachment people has these thoughts.
also, firstborns are also the training child. Yeah,
Yeah,
the dummy,
I kinda hate that
training
concept, but
dummy.
it happens. Eh.
Parents didn't know what they were doing, so they put hypercriticism into you instead of allowing you to mess up, great environment of learning instead of production. Yeah, yeah, but with my family, that doesn't work like that. They knew what they were doing
Hmm.
because of the hierarchy of where I am, where I live. it's just a whole mess, especially
Mm.
for firstborns. Especially because where used to live, our culture is mostly, a hierarchy like of females. So if you're a firstborn female, you have a high expectation to do this, to lead our people into the greater good.
Dang.
Yeah, because you are able to um buy land, create children, you know, like you are pretty much the pride and joy of the family, which sure they can, pamper you and everything. It's just it's it's like you have to bear the weight of your lineage.
Do you feel like you need to earn it? Like when they pamper you and stuff, do you feel like you need to, you know, do something in order to pay for it and stuff like that?
Yes. Like I for me, especially now, I will have to especially if someone gives me something, it's like, okay, what do you want in return? Because you
Ah,
pay tribute and I have to do a service.
dang.
Because it's just like I've been trying to get rid of that. It's like, okay, nobody owes you anything in this world.
Mm,
And it's the thing I have to be good at. It's like, okay, I can do my deeds and don't need to worry about anyone else. It's just it's just there.
mm. In a way, it's like, well, I'm the youngest, as I mentioned, and like back in my home planet, what's going on is that yeah, my sister is like you, the pride and joy. She's good at everything. I admired her a lot, and like yeah,
Mhm.
she's feeling the pressure. I mean, we didn't talk about it when we were younger. We are like 7 years apart, so we talk about it actually just like a few years ago. Basically, we are both done with school. She has a kid. I babysit her kid, so we talk. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, she did say that yeah, like see, I need to kind of act to be perfect all the time, which I can
Mhm.
tell at some point because like you know how it feels like when you be perfect all the time when you grow up and then you decided that oh you want to have your own life and like maybe your parents cannot understand that. In my sister's case it's so obvious that that's the case because it seems like my parents are were trying to paint her as some just because she's not at home anymore she's acting like a rebel when actually she just wanna like she's a decent person with decent job and a decent partner but it seems like oh every act that she does that she did for her own life it becomes some kind of betrayal towards my parents.
Yeah. It's you have sometimes like especially with the firstborn, you have to break that chain.
Yeah, and like thanks to
It's
that
more of a freedom.
mm-hmm. And thanks to that my mom is more receptive of my changes. But at the same time, yeah, old habits die hard, just like the previous slide we talk about. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, parents be parents, sometimes. Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all firstborns for that. But really,
Yeah.
like, there's this one thing that my therapist always say that actually made me cry that time that, yeah, the world doesn't owe you anything. It's kind of cold and rock hard, right? That, like that, but you deserve to be loved. Okay, like you deserve the love that you have now. Even when you are not like at your best all the time. Yeah,
Mhm.
I personally feel glad that we are friends and stuff. So yeah, don't feel like you need to owe people like just because people are nice to you, you owe them something. I know you know this, but yeah, dang, I'm getting a bit emotional.
Oh, don't be. It. these are the chains I have broken a long time ago. So
Mm,
it's it's a privilege to understand how to break these chains of what was bound to you by your blood.
yeah. Yeah, you're
But
better than you think. You did your best and it went well. And you deserve better for sure. And yeah, thank you for
yeah,
making it easier for us younger siblings.
yeah, I
And
gotta
I hope
protect the little ones.
yeah, I hope your little brother gives you the appreciation you need sometimes. But yeah,
Hmm.
usually I know it's awkward to do that. Like there's one time that I felt so mushy, so I told my sister like thank you for everything and stuff. And then she's like, "Oh no, it's okay." It's like it's so difficult for her to like accept thank yous or like appreciations in
Yep,
general.
yep.
Gosh, y'all avoidant people.
But sometimes you do can break those chains, or just say chain links
Mm-hmm.
of that collar and those cuffs. It's like, okay, one chain link at a time until
Yeah.
you get the cuff and collar. Then once you break those, it's like I don't know how to express it. It's like when you get into a field of flowers and feel that soft, warm wind blowing against you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's like the caress of a freedom. That warm caress of freedom. Everything's off.
Everything's gonna be good. And everything's
Yes.
good because we're in the field of flowers.
Yes.
Dang. Yeah, and I feel like by breaking those chains as well, or like breaking, in my case, breaking the beliefs that has been like growing in me as I grow up and stuff. I mean, like, some beliefs can be distorted, and by breaking those, we create new habits. And somehow, I feel like it also will come back, like, going back to this, it will help improve how we handle relationships in general. Hence, better
Mhm.
communication, hence, better relationship. And yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, Shadows, please, please. I'm happy you share this with me, with us today. And like,
Yeah.
I appreciate you really.
Oh, shush.
Oh,
That's what I'm here for.
that's how avoidant people react to compliments. Everybody.
There's this one friend, he's like, "Oh, you're so nice." I'm like, "Shut up. I'm not nice."
Well, that's why I mentioned earlier. Try to accept it, man. Just say, yeah. Thank you for
No,
saying
then
that.
it no. No, I will not allow it because the more I let you guys compliment me, it's like, "Oh god."
What?
Then I have to turtle and into my armor, and it's like, "Oh god."
Dang. Then I'll just knock on that shell and be like, you're nice. You're nice. You're nice. I'm gonna be that
There's a m
annoying. Yeah.
there's this meme where this guy's wearing armor, and
Yeah.
he's got the helmet on, there's a little slit for his eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "No one will hurt me." And there's an arrow that goes in that small hole, and it says compliments.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I saw that. I saw that.
That's me.
Ah. But
Oh
yeah.
gosh, no coin. But yeah, but once you break those chains, it's rejuvenating. It feels like you have wings to fly.
Mm-hmm. And like from a
Most
perspective, sorry. Finish your train of
and
thoughts first.
Yeah, and most young people don't understand these days. It's like it's okay to fall. It's okay. There's going to be someone right behind you. You do not understand that. Like it's okay to fall, but you need to get up. You need to do this. Like, you need to do this. You need to get up.
Mm,
No matter how many times you fall and fail, you have to get back up.
yeah.
It's part of living.
And in a way, it's like it seems annoying to like try to change our perspective and stuff, but when we do it, just like Shadows described, it's a good kind of freedom, you know.
Hmm.
It's a good kind of freedom. But yeah, what I was trying to say is that from a perspective of a younger sibling right here, yeah, I do feel like my sister was like an experiment of some sort. Like, yeah, she's good at everything and stuff, and then like what doesn't work is like, you know, I don't know about you all, but sometimes parents often forget that just because you treat kids the same way, they don't react the same way. So like, yeah, whatever works on my sister, they tried it on me, and obviously it didn't work because I'm the softer, meeker version of her, I would say.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, so I also had the feeling of like I need to earn love, I need to earn affection and stuff like that, but in a
Hmm.
different level, because like it feels like it's never enough. I mean, like, yeah, with older sibling, of course there's that feeling of nothing I do is enough.
You're her shadow.
Yeah, like the younger sibling becomes some sort of shadow that's like, oh, how come you're just like that? How come like this you cannot do? How come like that you cannot? If others can, why you cannot? Something like that. So yeah, to younger siblings out there as well, you are loved. You deserve it. You're different, and good kind of different, or if you're bad kind of different, do better.
Yeah. You're not a burden to
Yeah,
anyone.
yeah, yeah. And like, your older siblings wearing those armors, they do it so that you live better. So like, use it. I mean, if you wanna pay them back with appreciation and love. Don't feel like a burden. Wasting, like, I feel like I wasted a lot of my time feeling like a burden, to be very honest. And that's bad.
Yes. Don't ever
Dizzy
feel like a burden.
Dizzy mentioned that, well, as the last child of three, my upbringing was basically flying under the radar. I know parents are just humans, so I cannot, really judge them. I haven't been a parent. I haven't, I haven't had the chance to become a parent yet. Except for a dog parent. So yeah. But yeah, whatever you feel from the upbringing and stuff, you are worth it.
Hmm.
As much as it's hard to believe, especially for the older siblings and your armors, I'm stabbing you through that gap.
Oh my goodness. Don't worry. If you are flying underneath the radar, someone is watching you.
Yeah, it might be shadows, it might be me, you don't know.
Probably me, because I'm very observant.
But then, oh, the ad is rolling, by the way. But yeah, dang. Yeah, in the end, when it comes to talking about relationship, right, we go all the way back to how we grew up.
Hmm. It always stems from your childhood and your traumas,
Yeah.
because that's what makes you.
Yeah, which which is one of the reason why I made this whole podcast to begin with. Like, people become people because of their upbringing and because of what they face in life, and I want to know more about that. Like, I really really want to know more about that. Maybe for like, mostly I will admit for myself, because I do want to be better. In the last episode I mentioned about how I feel like, you know you mentioned the breaking the chains, right? Shadows.
Hmm.
And that it's a now it's a free world, now that we have like established which habits is bad, which habit is not bad. uh we are free. And then this is where I started to get lost. Like, if whatever negative thing that was implemented in me, if those things were wrong, um,
Mhm.
then who am I and what am I? Something like that.
And that's a journey for you to figure it out.
Yeah, so it's like the next level of yeah, we don't have chains, but then now without the chains, it's I'm just lost sometimes, and that's why
But sometimes,
I wanna
yeah,
I wanna
taking the
talk to
journey to
people.
it takes a journey to define you. It may
Yeah,
be a difficult or easy, but it's worth it to find you at last.
and
And
like yeah, sorry.
Dad brought up, uh, we as parents are still accountable for the microism we caused, and our
Mm-hmm.
children dodging that accountability is what creates more problems than solutions.
True, and that's why I left my planet.
Yeah, that's
Basically that.
because sometimes leaving your realms is nice.
But yeah, this is also why earlier when we talk about like how to build. Thank you for the head pat, Dizzy. How to build confidence and more of an attitude. Then I mentioned about how sometimes people's negative comments affect me so much that I start to like question if I really am that bad of a person, for instance. Yeah, the root of that is this. Like I broke the chain and then now what?
Mhm.
Yeah, there's that thing. That's why I say, oh, that's so relatable. Yeah. And it's kind of scary, but like in terms of communication, right? Early, especially early in the relationship, I noticed that my communication pattern really was similar to how like my parents communicate, which textbook wise, if I'm looking at it through the books I've been reading, it's not good, but yeah, it just happens. So yeah, the breaking the chains is always a journey to I would say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because emotional scars, or I should say, emotional damage can heal over time. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. But it will heal better if you actually put a work into it in my
Mhm.
experience, yeah. And like sometimes, oh yeah, another thing about communication is that sometimes how we judge ourselves also affected. Because what how, for me, sometimes I project, and like I know the projections come from how I'm not nice to myself, so I'm kind of not generous with people because I'm not generous with myself, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, if you can stop implementing that into your communication, it will be great. But if you still, I mean, it is a struggle. But yeah, sometimes if your partner seem to be doing that, I believe that, yeah, that's our time to be generous, I would say.
Yeah.
Dang, humans are hard. But yeah,
But
I
yeah.
think the major, sorry?
Oh, you can go.
All right, yeah, I feel like the major strategy really is just like take a deep breath, take a break, if things are heated up, turn off the fire. You know what I
So when we get argumentative
mean?
in my relationship, I'm like, you know what? Just go take a nap. I'll still be here. Just go take a nap.
Mm.
You know, you be good.
Oh yeah, there's a saying that when you argue with your partner, don't sleep on it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't always work. So sometimes sleeping on it is better.
Yes,
That's why take a
because
nap.
sometimes, yes, because sometimes your mind is tired. Like especially coming home from work and something happens and you're tired, or they have depressions. Because
Mm.
naps do help.
Yeah.
It's because it turns off the brain, gives it a short rest from all of the protect of everything that happened for that day. So yeah, naps are generally a good soft reboot.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about you, but my naps usually have better sleep quality compared to my sleep at night.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's why you say that I'm a baby. I'm not the baby,
Oh,
okay?
I take naps
Nah.
too, but I haven't taken a nap in a while. Well, I lied. I took one on Sunday, but that was great.
Yeah, weekend naps. But sometimes with weekend naps, I feel like, oh, I could have used this for something else, uh, the time. But yeah, it still feel good. So.
Mhm.
I'm still looking at the diagram of this nonviolent communication. There's this thing where they say to listen with your whole being.
Yes, and it takes patience.
Because no matter what others say, we only hear what they are observing, feeling, needing, and requesting.
You have to have patience and attentiveness.
All right, I mentioned generosity. I want to not forget to mention about this. Yeah, I'm talking about being generous, giving benefit of the doubt, etc. There's this
Mhm.
one method that I've been doing. Like, let's say if I started to get mad at something,
Mhm.
I try to think about the good things that, let's say, my friend and my husband has been giving to me. Like maybe even the
Mhm.
smallest things that I usually take for granted and stuff. That helps me to just, when we focus on appreciation, it's easier to like uh give the benefit of the doubt, or like just be generous in general, at least
Mhm.
based on my limited experience. Because I do get
Right.
emotional when I feel like my needs are not fulfilled.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I do know that appreciation helps. Just like how we all appreciate shadows, am I right, people? People in the
Oh,
chat.
stop it. I'm just here, mm, have my watchful eye on you guys, make sure you guys are good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then there's another point where expressing our vulnerability might actually help resolve the conflict. That is a mood for me. I don't know if you tried that before, Shadows, with your partner. Like when things are heated up, I'm like, okay, fine. I'm actually feeling this way because I have this and that in my head, and I'm scared of this and that. That's why. That actually helps. It sounds like a justification, but I don't know. It's it explains, it
Yeah.
gives more context, I would say. Yeah.
Oh, that's another title I have now.
What?
Paladin of Baseness, spitting out base facts. It's just like I've been through so much in my life for a short period. It's just like I grew up way too fast for being me.
See.
But some people are like, "Holy shit, how are you like this?" Usually people that get the same shit going on with their lives, they turn out for the bad. What makes you special? It made you more positive. And I'm like,
Hmm.
well, I came self-aware. I I noticed the problems beforehand or before the cancer grew
Hmm.
and removed it. Sure, there's gonna be some of it left in there. It's just, hey, I got rid of it. It's gone. I'm good. Moving forward.
I mean, I get it. Usually people with the armor are not the best when it comes to vulnerability. I would say. But yeah. Oh, dang, my train of thoughts are going everywhere. This is also related to another Gottman thing, which is basically, let's say in marriage, right? With your partner, you should have this thing called love map. And it should be updated every few months, I would say. Basically, it contains every single thing that makes you understand your partner better. So that means triggers, vulnerabilities, on top of the superficial
Hmm.
stuff. Even like how do they take their food, etc. It also like it makes you feel special when your partner knows what you like and dislike. But yeah, it's another level when it's the vulnerabilities in check. And that's also the base of a good relationship and communication in general. If you get lost, just check the map.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Sometimes those who are lost or I should say, who is what was that? It's an Alice in Wonderland quote. Hold on.
Look it up. Look it up.
Not all who wander are lost.
Hmm.
Well, some will go this way and some will go that way. Oh, Jesus, Jesus Christ.
Why? What's wrong?
Ban.
Oh.
Hold on, I'm smiting creatures.
Bots alert.
Yeah, but you can continue. I'm gonna be a minute.
Okay. Another part of the nonviolent communication also says something that actually I feel like everyone needs to hear. Uh, it's best to take action out of the desire to contribute to life rather than out of fear, shame, or obligation. And then I feel like it's part of the whole chain breaking thing Shadows and I were talking about. Because we kids, younger siblings, older siblings, we have this kind of chains that our parents put on us. Maybe they don't deliberately do it, but yeah, they want us to survive. So they want us to be stronger. They want us to be an example or like be like the example. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And like sometimes it creates, at least in me, this sense of guilt or shame if we don't fulfill a certain standard based on the chain that is set on us, to be very honest. And yeah, this is a good thing to have. Like just remember that when you do something, do it because you want to contribute to life, to yourself, to others, rather than because you know you fear it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I should really take note of this because I do tend to do things out of fear. Dang,
Being a paladin, you're immune to fear.
are you sure? Or do you think you're immune to it, but you're actually avoiding it? Hmm?
No, I'm immune to it because even the bravest could be still scared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, being scared is okay, but don't do things as much as possible. Try not to do things out of obligation, fear, or shame. Unless you're working under someone, that's when obligation comes to play. But when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to yeah, moral choices or like choices you make with your life, yeah, try to do it for the good, not for the fear. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Which also reminds me that I tend to over explain why I do certain things.
Yeah, you gotta stop that because it's okay.
I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm like, do you be like, it's okay?
It's the anxiety tickling your brain. You need to stop it.
Yeah, I feel like I need to like justify it or people will think that I as stupid as it sounds, I hate to be like a villain on people's story. I know no matter what I do, it will still happen. But yeah, I hate it sometimes.
That's a good quote, Dad.
What happened?
It's not about your resistance to fear, it's about your ability to overcome fear, and that's from the Green Lantern.
Wow. I haven't watched that. Is it good? It's an old DC movie, right?
It's probably in the comics
Ah,
or the, kids show,
yeah.
but not
Sometimes.
much in the movie.
Ah, yes. Many quote of the day today. Dang. I like how we started with like what strategy we use for a relationship, and then we go all the way down the rabbit
Yeah.
hole, and like we pull out one, two, three writers
Mhm.
out and what they say. But that's what's great about human science. Now I feel like I really need to finish reading the Law of Human Nature, and then I'll call Shadows again and be like, let's do it again. Let's talk about humans. Yay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Dad, I know it's in the comics, but it's probably somewheres in the movie or somewheres.
Ah. I feel like
But
movies likes to take those like important quotes, no, like Spider-Man's when you great responsibility comes with great strength, a great power comes with a great responsibility. My tongue.
mhm.
I didn't breathe just now, so yes. I was spitting out words.
You're just spitting out facts.
Yeah. Great power comes with the
Pa 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 pa.
clap.
Clap.